the frustrations that we deal with in our daily lives, involving the deepest and most profound relationships within our lives, could make us sin. We've asked the people that we love to don't do it again. Don't hurt me again. But they do that one thing you asked them not to do. And it made you have an overwhelming feeling of disrespect. And you felt as though you had to regain the control within that relationship. And the only way you felt you could do that is through sin. Listen, the flesh will never understand what the Spirit understands. The flesh will never know what the Spirit knows. The flesh is observed as more of a cause and effect. Because something happens, it would do this. Because something happens, it would do that. There's no real rationale with the flesh. The only rationale comes with how you instruct the heart. So there's certain things that you believe you'll never do, and you place that within your heart, and you said that I will not do this, like murder or steal, or maybe even lie. And so you place these rules within your heart, and your heart takes all these rules into consideration before it acts. But when it acts, it still sins. The heart never taking into consideration what God could do, but only understanding that it has been affected, right? So whatever disagreements you had within your relationship, or whatever event happened that made you feel sorrowful, made you feel sad, is now the heart now feels as though it has to take action in order to regain balance. But I will say again, the flesh does not know what the Spirit knows. And the flesh will never understand what the Spirit understands. God says in His Word that He loves them who loves Him. And it seems like, why would God say such a thing? We have to learn to love Him. We have to learn to see His face. We have to learn to praise Him. We have to learn to live the life He wants us to live. Above many things that God understands, He understands this: that your heart, your mind is determined to do what it wants to do. So if you want to be a servant of God, all you have to do is set your mind in order to be a servant of God, son or daughter of God, and it will be done. Because He knows the mind is a powerful tool. One that even Satan knows, if he's able to manipulate, he has control over your destiny. We look at television and media and we never realize, we consider everything innocent until there's a cause and effect. A great example of this is a show that speaks about cheating within a relationship. And they show these people how they're acting and fighting and arguing and beating, and how that because maybe the party knew about their fornication or their cheating, they took it upon themselves to cheat too. The crowd is applauding and saying, good for them, you should have done that. until it happens to you. Your rationale is now their rationale. Because what you may have missed is that you placed, when you clapped and you applauded and you said good for them, you placed that within your heart as a rule. If this person does this, I will then do that. If we look at the Word of God inspires, the Word of God cleans us up. It shows us our faults, that we could redirect our path from the path of destruction to a path of enlightenment. And what God teaches us is, since the flesh doesn't understand the Spirit, we have to have faith. And you may ask yourself, well, where does faith fit into this equation? Because what faith teaches us is to do what is right regardless of the wrong that you receive. One word that backs this up is, David says, I've never seen the righteous forsaken and his seed begging for bread. We may say, well, bread, I got bread, I don't need bread. But if we look deeper at the word, we learn in this message that God preserves the righteous. And not only them, but also their seed, their children. So what that means, and hopefully should mean to you, is to serve God regardless of what's being dealt to you. There's a lot of reasons, A to Z, as to why we may sin. But honestly, it boils down to we want to. There's never a good reason to sin. Especially when you learn what could come from it.